At this time, I call a regular meeting to order. First, Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Santa Cruz, can you please lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Governing Board President, Ms. Patricia Jimenez.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Mr. Rudy Santa Cruz.
present.
Governing Board Member, Mr. Harry Garwell.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Ms. Maria Hernandez.
Present.
And Governing Board Member, Ms. Maria Guzman is out.
Thank you. Next, approval of the April 27, 2023 regular governing board meeting agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call for the vote. Motion carries. Next, approval of April 13, 2023 regular governing board meeting with executive session minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, changes? Hearing none, call for the vote. Motion carries. Next is governing board reports. First is Mr. Santa Cruz.
I have no reports today. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Garwell.
Yes, Madam President, actually I had a whole different report until I got some information a little while ago, but it really is germane to our agenda item today regarding, the pay increases, the stipends, and also the classroom state fund, and which I think are really good. And I know Ms. Lang's going to have really good information for us to help us have a better understanding, because as you all well know, that my colleague and I, one of our biggest responsibilities, aside from the superintendent, is the fiscal responsibility for the school district. So I think it's really important that we have that understanding. And the reason I changed my report for today was because just about 2.5 hours ago, I received the Arizona School Boards Association salary survey. And so that salary survey comes out once a year. And this year, it was ran from January through March 31st. And there was about close to a 50% response rate, which is not great, but it still gives us a good indication of, salaries and benefits throughout the state of Arizona. And in particular, I looked at Maricopa County because it's broken out by Maricopa County. But it had things in there, that are really relevant to us, and that is like, some of the questions as, your school district pay benefits. How much salary do they pay teachers, principals, assistant principals, superintendents, and then also district administrators. So there's a lot of really good information in there that helps us to make good decisions, on what we should be doing for the resources that we have here at the school district. And I think it's really incumbent on us as school board members to be able to stay on top of that. So, and most of you know that when I get that kind of information, I go through it pretty well, and I just kind of glanced over it. But I think that there's going to be some really good information that's going to help us in really deciding and determining where we can go and what kind of benefits and salaries that we can provide for our staff, because I think it's really important that we do that. And I think our efforts tonight are going to help to demonstrate that, in conjunction with the importance of providing our children educational opportunities that will help them to be able to move forward. So I was really excited by that. One of the other surveys that I actually also came out was the superintendent survey, and that was also broken up by county. So we have two different researches or surveys that we have available to us as school board members to really take a look at and understand how well are we performing in comparison to the entire state. But also how are we performing in Maricopa County, and then you compare it down to what are our neighboring districts looking like, and what do they provide as well, because it's broken down, that aggregated information down to that level. So I would encourage my school board members, and I know you will, you'll see it in your inbox tonight. But it's really, I think, an instrument that we all need to really take a look at and be able to use it. So I got excited by that, and I wanted to share that tonight. That's the end of my report, Madam President.
Thank you. Next is Ms. Hernandez.
I have no report at this time, Madam President.
Thank you. Next is myself. I want to welcome everybody. I know we have one more month to go. I think a little bit more than, one more month. Thank you for all the invitations. Thank you, Nancy, for putting that on our calendars. It's really hard for me to attend in the mornings, but, it's nice to see all the events and everything that's happening in the schools. I also want to thank Marcela and everybody. Parent University was amazing. It was great. I can't wait to celebrate our 10 years. In 2 years, correct? In 2 years. So we had 100, I believe, and 70 registrations. All the presenters too. The sessions. So it's a really good event, and hopefully every year we could grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So thank you very much. I know it's a lot of work. So thank you everybody that helped out. Yesterday was Ms. Hernandez's birthday, so why don't we sing happy birthday to her? Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Ms. Hernandez. Happy birthday to you. She's 15. And that's it. Thank you again. Next is superintendent update. Oh, Ms. Guzman's not here.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the governing board, and Isaac community. Isaac Middle School received an honorary award for support from Support the Music Award. And if we could show the slides, thank you. Isaac Middle School is one of 78 schools across the nation to receive this distinguished award for outstanding achievement, providing music access and education to all students. We want to thank our band director, Mr. Salvador Rodriguez, for his hard work and dedication to our students. Also, April 25th was Bus Driver Appreciation Day, and we had a breakfast here at the district office for our bus drivers. They are amazing folks. They're the first people that our students see, the first adults, our first Isaac staff members, our students see when they come to school each and every day. And they work hard to make sure our students arrive safely, and also that they begin the day in a positive way. So we want to thank our bus drivers and let them know how much we appreciate them as well. Today we had celebrations throughout the district for Dia de los Niños. We had promotores involved in collaborating with Isaac staff to sponsor this event. Our Isaac students were invited to participate, and they received free toys, food, snacks, and we had entertainment for the entire family. We also had some of our community partners available there too, so thank you very much for that fantastic opportunity and event for our students. And then finally, I would like you to join me in congratulating our Business Services Department. If they could please stand. Business Services. Congratulations. For the 5th year in a row now, they have received a Business Services Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Regulating and Reporting. So thank you again for your hard work. And I'd like to invite the staff up to take a picture. So Nancy, that's you as well. I know you're wearing 2 hats right now. Invite the staff, the board, to come up and take a picture. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we have new business, information, discussion, and action. Item 8, 2023-2024 District Leadership Reorganization, new job descriptions, Dr. Mario Ventura, Superintendent, Mr. Jose Arenas, Chief Human Resource Officer. Information, Dr. Ventura?
Madam President, members of the board, and Isaac community, every now and then we'd like to come back and review our different positions that we have in the district to support learning and operations throughout the whole department, all the departments. And so this year, going into 23-24, we have a proposed new reorganization that we feel will help us become more efficient and effective in not only meeting the strategies in our strategic plan, but also providing better services to our students and being more efficient and effective in how we operate our district. So with that, I give you Mr. Arenas to go through the reorganization chart.
Thank you, Dr. Ventura. Good evening, Madam President, members of the Governing Board, and Dr. Ventura and stakeholders. This evening, as Dr. Ventura has mentioned, tonight what I'd like to do is a quick overview of our district administrative landscape, As I proceed with the department and the district overviews, the yellow boxes, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Ventura, are new position requests or reclassified positions for your we're proposing for you for tonight's proposal. Part of this process is to align positions, skill sets, focus responsibilities, and quite frankly, to reassign positions to appropriate job responsibilities and duties. Part of it is also to streamline our process and support and strengthen compliance mandates. I know that each department has different compliance mandates, and really those shift as we work with the Arizona Department of Education and other entities. Certainly, I'd like to also add that we will continue to embed the mission and the view of our Isaac School District strategic plan. That's very important to us, specifically our core values. I think all of you, if not most of you in here, have worked on those the last few years, and each goal will be led, managed, and guided through the proposed reorganization. So as I move through the presentation, first of all is the Office of the Superintendent. The yellows, again, are some of the reclassifications, repurposing of a position. That vacant position is a new position, as you can see there. It's the Assistant Superintendent for your review, for your recommendation of curriculum and instruction. That is a cabinet position, along with Dr. Avila, who's currently in an Assistant Superintendent position. However, the shifting of responsibilities will shift, along with the current positions of Lynn Lang and myself overseeing HR. And again, you can see the executive team members that fall under the executive team that support Dr. Ventura. Once again, the mission, the strategies of our district. Communications Department, what this is, Madam President and members of the Governing Board, just a review again of what we currently have. No major changes, with the exception there is a vacancy, as you can see in the Communications Specialist position. That's a very important department that the strategic plan and Dr. Ventura's leadership brought together this last, we're going on 2 years now. The Business Department, this is again the overview in terms of administrative support that Ms. Lynn Lang has and she oversees. Again, the yellow box indicates a change, not necessarily a new position, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Ventura. It's a shift under a new or different purposed, if you will, responsibility. And this would be under the Business Department. That would be Mr. Aaron Harris, currently the Director of Grants and Federal Programs, as you can see. Not a new position again. Business Department, that's the overview landscape, if you will, of the entire department that Ms. Lang overseas. And again, you can see the change there, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Ventura. And that's again adding that Aaron Harris will take basically his staff with him, if you will, under the auspices and direction of Ms. Lynn Lang. The remaining payroll, no fixed assets, warehouse, all those elements, food services, again, they stay under the general, the specific leadership of Ms. Lynn Lang. Human Resources Department, that's the department that I'm so proud and honored to be able to provide an oversight, along with somebody very near and dear to the HR department, and Isaac is Dr. Tanya Whiteford. No changes, Madam President, members of the board, within the department. Curriculum and Instruction Department, that's an area of focus that Dr. Ventura has brought forth for your review, Madam President, members of the board. That again goes back to the, a new position, the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. This particular position will provide an overview, and guidance and leadership for these positions. A new position, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Ventura, is the Director of English Language Learners. That would be a director position. As I said earlier, reclassified position would be, again, not a new position, but reclassified for your review and proposal as a recommendation is Ms. Marcela Lopez, who certainly sits in as the Family Engagement HOI leader. That position would be reclassified to Director of Family and Community Engagement. And then another position that would be new for your, again, as we're proposing, for your review and recommendation would be a Career and Technical Education Coordinator, short Career and Technical Coordinator. That's an emphasis that Dr. Ventura, cabinet members, and quite frankly, members of leadership have started discussing, and that particular discussion has resurrected to the point that we're trying to build pathways for our students to get into the secondary schools and then post-secondary opportunities with career pathways in career, technical, and education programming. Curriculum Instruction Department, that is the oversight, once again, the overlay of the larger, if you will, bigger, stronger, faster in terms of C&I direction. And again, you can see the changes there under the yellow boxes, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Ventura. I hope I'm not going too fast, but I've been warned, don't talk a lot, and I got it. Student Services and Extended Learning Department, Dr. Eric Avila, as we know, serves as our Assistant Superintendent currently under Teaching and Learning. Again, she would expound on her skill sets in terms of student services, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Ventura, and with extended learning. We feel that extended learning is a big, robust opportunity for us to expound on, us being an Isaac District community, before school, after school, in between school sessions, summer sessions, intersessions to support our students. And when we talk about our students, we're certainly talking about our families. So this is a big emphasis, and we know that this is a focus that Dr. Ventura and Madam President and the members of the governing board have had for quite some time. Under Support Services Department, that is the infamous and legendary Mr. David Morales, who oversees that department now, as you know. And I say that respectfully because I think people forget that there's a lot of area, a lot of ground area, a lot of square footage, and it's not always about square footage, but a lot of just the radius is large and grand and big. So the proposal for your recommendation, Madam President, a proposal for your recommendation, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Ventura, is that a new position, Associate Director of Support Services, be reviewed and considered for recommendation for approval. That would serve, I think the easiest way to provide this, and I know Dr. Ventura's vision is to provide a middleman, middle lady, middle person to support all the work that Carlos Nunez does, of course, transportation, the special projects, the Students First, grants, building renovations, all those efforts. There's a lot of grants that in my short 2 years that I've been here that I've seen Mr. Morales has to oversee, and he's out there knocking on doors to get us money, and then we have to, oversee those and provide compliance. So that's a lot. And again, our very own Carlos Nunez is out there, and he's the person at 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. You all know this, and or late at evening. So we wanted to provide some not only leadership and support, but some guidance. So this position, which is a new position, would be in between there in terms of supporting Mr. Morales and Mr. Nunez and transportation. And another position would be the maintenance lead. Once again, that's the, I call it the nuts and bolts of our schools, the heart and soul of our community many times, because again, it's not always about curb appeal, but I think a lot of times it is when we're trying to keep our upkeep of our buildings, facilities, and our grounds. I think that's very, very important to our community. I counted 17 sites that Mr. Morales, and he may say it's probably more than that out in us, and I'm sure there is, but 17 standalone sites when you can't consider our district office, transportation department, and other areas. That doesn't include the grounds. So it's a lot of work out there. And again, you all know that, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Ventura. Just want to reemphasize that in the big grand scheme of this reorg. Again, in the spirit of not repeating all this, this is the expanded version of the Support Services Department under the direction and leadership of Mr. Morales. Technology Department, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Ventura, no changes. Although unfortunately we do have some vacancies, as you can see there, and I know that we are working with Mr. Perez in terms of repurposing, looking at what we could do to attract. I think Mr. Gerval, Board Member Gerval, respectfully and eloquently shared the need to support our employees, and that's what we're trying to do as we move forward. So it's very important to us, and that's the expanded version, once again, of the current technology department and how it stands now. Before I tee it off to my last PowerPoint sheet, if you will, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Ventura, what we saw there, what I just provided is basically 8 yellow changes, if you will, right? The boxes, 8 yellow changes. And those included reassignments, reclassifications, and/or new positions. 4 new allocations total, 4 new positions, if you will. It's a lot, I know, so bear with me. Of those 4, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction is a new one. Associate Director of Support Services, new position. Director of ELL, English Language Learners, new position. And the Career and Technical Education Coordinator, new position. 6 new job descriptions, 5 this evening, as you know. 1 who was presented, and thank you for approving that position already. As we go into the final slide, I'm not the business person, but so I want to, Ms. Lang and I did talk about this, and you're probably all thinking, thank God you're not, because it wouldn't be good. But with that said, I know Ms. Lang and I talked about this particular slide. This is very important. The big picture here, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Ventura, is currently the red positions are positions that will no longer be part of Isaac next school year upon your approval and or governing board action. When you look at those numbers that are in parentheses, and of course not in parentheses, it comes out to $570,000 total in terms of maintenance and operation, in terms of having these positions under this reorg that we're proposing, that I'm presenting on, to take place for the 23-24 school year and beyond. When you look at those that are in red and you subtract those, we're looking at a $135 increase in terms of supporting these positions. With that said, before I turn it over to Ms. Lang, if she has any follow-up with respect to that particular slide, I thank you, Dr. Ventura, Madam President, members of the board, to allow me to present on this reorg, because again, it's basically fixated on doing the best we can for our students, being more customer-friendly, and address matters yesterday, not today, in a robust manner, and to be in compliance. And we feel that this is a proposal that I'm sure you will consider as we review. Ms. Lang, I'm not putting you on the spot, am I?
Mr. Lenez did an awesome job there. Maybe I should get him in the business office. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have regarding these numbers.
Does the board have any questions?
Not a question, Madam President, just a comment. You know, I think these are the types of slides with the information on there that, you know, really helps us and helps the community to understand, you know, where we're going to be getting this, because it wasn't that long ago that, you know, we were having some challenges, but we've now increased our student enrollment, and there's other things that have come into play, like the ESSER funds. So I think we're in a much better fiscal position than we had been in the past. But it's important for the community to know, you know, how we're processing this, and to show that, you know, there are replacements for some of those jobs that are being removed, right? But also are going to be supporting one of our major objectives, right? And that is to provide good educational opportunities for our students, as well as to have the right staff in place in order for us to be able to go forward and perform the services that are required in the district. So I just wanted to comment on it. I think that's a really good slide, only because it does very clearly delineate, where the costs are going to be and where the cost savings are going to be as well. So thank you for that.
Anybody else? I just have a comment. So this would take into effect next school year, correct? 20?
Madam President, members of the board, yes, and Dr. Batuta, that is correct. That's our plan.
Okay. And I see many, it's great opportunities for future leaders in the district, I see many vacancies, which is great. And just to clarify, when we do the interviews for these vacancies, we do have a committee, a process, correct?
Madam President, members of the governing board, Dr. Batuta, absolutely. Madam President, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Dr. Ventura? Go ahead. Okay.
We'll bring it back.
Okay. So we're going to bring it back for to vote, because it's just
Just
information
wanted
already.
to
Yeah,
comment.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just speaking to that slide, but,
Okay.
a couple questions, though. So in the process for filling the vacancies, that'll be in the first quarter of this next fiscal year? Is that what we're looking for, or? when are we gonna-
Madam President, members of the governing board, Mr. Garibald, Board Member Garibald, Dr. Batuta, our understanding is that we know that there's talent out there right now. So we're going to do everything we can under Dr. Batuta's leadership and guidance to move sooner rather than later to fill for 23-24. As we know, July 1st, 2023 is our first official day for the 23-24 school year. So our hope is to move soon, sir, rather than later. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, absolutely, that was great, thank you. One in particular position that's new up there is career and technical coordinator position, because you've all heard me talk about, the CTE, and I know the state is still struggling to try to get some more traction on that under the new superintendent of education. So I still think that the commission is still in place, but I know that, Ms. Gonzalez was doing a great job on that commission trying to push some of the effort down to the 8th grade levels. So I think it's really important for us to know that, because first of all, when our students get into secondary school, they go to high school, they take that first year, that freshman year, and it's really kind of the first year that they explore to see what careers they want to get involved with, which is a good thing. However, they only have the 4 years. And if you take one of those years to explore, then that only leaves them 3 years to start getting their certificates. And the significance of that is that you lose 1 year of trying to get those certificates. That could mean the difference of about anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 a year more in a salary base from the career and technical education certificates that the students can accomplish. So by using and really pushing it down to the 8th grade level, it gives them that additional year. It's kind of like a redshirt year in sports, right? Where you go in and you have a whole year just to kind of assimilate. Well, this gives our students an opportunity to explore everything from, software coding, to welding. I mean, I could give you the whole list on it, but I think it's a great opportunity. So I'm really excited by the fact that we do have this on the radar now, because it gives a leg up to our students in the future. So I'm happy, first of all, that, we're going to be looking at the talent we have here, but also that we may have them in position by the time we start the next fiscal year, right? Because this is actually for fiscal year 24 that all of these will be going into play. So I just wanted to comment on that, Madam President, that I think that, there's some good opportunities here, as well as some of the other new positions that are going to be brought online. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just to clarify, fellow colleagues, if you look at the computer, the agenda, it does say new business information and discussion and action. So we're going to vote on it tonight, so
Yeah.
call for the vote.
Excuse
have a
me, Madam
question? Oh,
President?
go
Yeah, I
ahead.
have a question. Is, on these new positions, I would strongly recommend, can we look internally first before we go outside? Because I think we have a lot of talent in the district. So this would be a good opportunity for some of our staff to make an impact.
Madam President, members of the governing board, Dr. Ventura, board member Santa Cruz, absolutely. And I'm nodding my head only, sir, since I've been here, I know that's been, and before. Dr. Ventura has really pushed that envelope. He's really pushed that effort. We've had conversations as cabinet members and certainly at the sites that, we need to promote and take care of our own, if you will, build that pipeline because it's a very special community and we want people to stay here. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Further questions, comments? No? Call for the vote.
Madam President, members of the governing board, if I might just have a few minutes, I can reload.
Okay.
Madam President, members of the governing board, at this moment, I will have to do a roll call. Madam President, may I please have your verbal vote?
Aye.
Governing board member, Mr. Rudy Santa Cruz, may I please have your verbal vote?
Aye.
Governing board member, Ms. Maria Hernandez, may I please have your verbal vote?
Aye.
And governing board member, Mr. Harry Garwell, may I please have your verbal vote?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next, we have approval of a 3% pay increase for all employees for the 2023-2024 school year. Ms. Ling Lang, Chief Financial Officer, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Lang?
Good evening, Madam President, members of the governing board, Dr. Ventura, and Isaac Community. This evening, we're requesting your approval for a 3% pay increase for all employees for the 2023-2024 school year. By law, the legislature is supposed to provide us a 2% increase, inflation increase on our per pupil funding. We don't know what else they may give us or not give us. They're kind of stalled right now. They went on vacation until mid-May. So, so what we're requesting is that since we know that the 2% is mandated by law, that we use the funds that will be provided by that and a small amount of our contingency in order to provide a 3% increase across the board for all of our employees. If you look at the screen, you can see that the estimated cost is about $819,000, and that's including the benefits. Estimated inflation, we would get about $90 per student, or $634,500, with using 184,000 of our contingency funds. It would balance out the amount that we need. As of right now, our estimated budget carry forward in M&O is about $1,017,000. So we do have a good amount of money that we would be able to use for this.
Okay, any questions from the board?
I had a question, just another comment.
Go
Madam
ahead, Mr.
President.
Garwell.
It is unfortunate that the legislature's out, but I think that this really does demonstrate, the commitment on behalf of the district, for our staff. So I think, it's a very appropriate, and when I was looking through that survey, it's right in alignment with market. There's other school districts that are a little bit higher and others that are a little lower. So I think we're in a good spot here. And the fact that, it still provides us that carry forward in our budget, which is still under the threshold for the state. But it gives us some wiggle room, if they don't come back and end up, giving us that 2% inflation piece. So it's really, again, very important for us to understand, and demonstrate how fiscally responsible we're being. So thank you for that.
Anybody else? Call for the vote. Motion carries. Next, approval of a $1,000 contract signing return to work stipend and $4,000 retention stipend for all returning employees for the 2023-2024 school year. Ms. Ling Lang, Chief Financial Officer, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Lang?
Madam President, members of the governing board, back in December of 2022, the governing board approved a $500 contract signing bonus and a $2,000 retention stipend. As time has gone on, and in order to remain competitive with our other districts, our surrounding districts, and also as we have balanced out how much money we have in ESSER, we think that it's important that we increase that amount, and we basically have doubled the amount to be a total of $5,000. $1,000 would be a contract signing return to work stipend or bonus. This would be paid as soon as we come back to school in August. And that $1,000 would go to all of our employees, depending upon, not immaterial to how many hours a week they work. Every one of our employees that returns will receive the $1,000. Then on top of that, we're asking a $4,000 retention stipend for all of our staff, and that would be paid in two parts. The first payment would come in December, right before the winter break, and then the second part would come at the end in June, at the end of the school year. Those two amounts would be prorated based on the number of hours that each employee works. So if they're a half-time employee, they would get half of the amount. If they're three-quarters, they would get three-quarters. We figure this is a fair way to do it, and so this evening we're requesting of your approval to increase those amounts.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Just a comment again, Madam President. So I'm in support of this, and part of it is because of what I've stated already, right, that I really think it's important for us, for the staff. The other thing also is the fact that this is a one-time payout. This is not a fixed cost that'll go into the next fiscal year. So when we look at our carry forward of $1,017,000, that won't have any impact in the 2025 budget cycle that we're going to be going into. So again, looking forward another year to see where we're going to be at, because we're still in this unknown. But we also know that the ESSER funds are funds that have to be dispersed by 2025, I believe. 2024. So,
2024.
and this is actually an approved use of the funds. So it works right into what we had already made a commitment. Federal government was able to provide us that funding. And again, it goes back to the basic thing about providing the opportunity for our staff. So I think this is us being, again, fiscally responsible and helping the community to understand that, these are things that we can do one time. But then, we'll look at them again next year and see where we're at. So thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Yes, Madam President, I have a question for Ms. Lang. One of the things is that, I know you said that the second half goes based on the hours that the employee does work, if they're half-time or one-third time or whatever. I know that many times that there are employees who may be half-time, but they work beyond those hours, but if their contract's only for half-time, are they still gonna go by the half-time pay or by the hours they may have worked?
Madam President, Ms. Hernandez, it will be based on what their hours for their position are
What's
stated.
uncontracted?
What's on contract, yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Any further questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. Motion carries. Next, approval of $1,000 increase to the classroom site fund amount added to teachers and certified student support staff contracts for FY 23-24. Ms. Ling Lang, Chief Financial Officer, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Lang?
Madam President, members of the governing board, each year by March 30th, the legislature is contractual, have to let us know how much the amount per student we're going to receive for Classroom Site Fund. This year, the amount is $758 per weighted student count, and which is an increase of $50 per student. So when I go back and I did all the multiplication, the additional funds will generate enough money to give each of our teachers and our our certified support staff that support the students, right, that work with students, for example, our physical therapists, our occupation, those types of people, to increase the amount that we add to their contracts by $1,000. They currently receive $5,000 from Classroom Site Fund, and we want to increase it to $6,000. And just on a side note, before we finish this, with the 3% increase, salary increase that you previously approved, and the additional signing bonus and retention stipend, and if we add this $1,000, I did just a quick, just kind of calculation, and for our average teacher salary, for right now, what our average teacher salary is, it would equate to approximately an 8.1% increase for those individuals. So obviously that would fluctuate a little bit depending upon how much you make and across the board, but it will be a significant increase for next year for our teachers, for sure.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Comments? No? Okay, hearing none, call for the vote. Motion carries. Next, approval to rescheduling the May 11th regular governing board meeting to Monday, May 8th at 5 p.m. Dr. Ventura, is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Ventura?
Madam President, we had a challenge making quorum. So by moving our meeting to Monday, May 8th, we will be able to have quorum and conduct our board meeting.
Any questions, comments? No? Call for the vote. Okay, motion carries. Next, do I have approval to approve the whole consent agenda? Is there a motion?
Oh, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call for the vote. Okay, motion carries. Next is call to the public. Nancy?
Madam President, members of the governing board, at this moment, we have 2 requests to address the governing board. As a reminder to the public, any personal attacks upon board members, staff personnel, or other persons in attendance or absent by individuals who address the board are discouraged. Presenters are cautioned that statements or representations concerning others that convey an unjustly unfavorable impression may subject the presenter to civil action for defamation. Policies KE, KEB, KEC, and KED are provided by the board for disposition of legitimate complaints, including those involving individuals. Upon conclusion of the open call to the public, individual members of the board may respond to any criticism made by an individual who has addressed the board. The audience is advised to please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Our first request to address the governing board comes from Ms. Alicia Kozamar.
Do I just start when I'm ready? Okay, perfect. Good evening, Madam President, members of the Governing Board, and Superintendent Ventura. My name is Dr. Alicia Kozamor, and I'm Faculty Chair for Grand Canyon University's College of Education. And I'm here tonight with my colleague, Professor Claudia Coleman. We're here to share some information and updates with you, but most importantly, we're here to thank you and show our immense thanks for all of the work that you're doing with our pre-service teachers who are serving as substitute teachers in your district. As you're sure aware, in January 2023, the state of Arizona had 2,890 teacher vacancies. And your district, along with your amazing staff, administrators, and teachers, have welcomed our COE pre-service teachers into your district, open your arms to them as substitute teachers. And so you're really putting a dent in that concerning statistic that we all see, and you're making a difference in the lives of your students, but our students as well. So this year you opened your doors to 15 GCU pre-service teachers and allowed them to enter your classrooms as emergency certified substitute teachers. We want to express our sincere gratitude for your support of our students as substitute teachers in your district. So the impact of this initiative has been so significant, with over 11,000 hours of substitute teaching done by our COE students. And your support for our students goes above and beyond them just being substitute teachers. You have supportive and welcoming administrators and teachers that we are just in awe of. They really welcome our students into their schools as teachers, but also take them under their wing and recognize that they are pre-service teachers. You have committed to having them as emergency substitute teachers, but you are also putting a dent in that statistic I spoke of earlier. You have 4 students who are now transitioning into into substitute teachers, and 3 of them are being paid during this time as substitute teachers. You also have hired 5 of our students to be full-time teachers when they graduate, which is tomorrow morning, so very excited. So they are so excited, and we just thank you for your culture, and our students want to be here. So we're proud to work with this district who really values the importance of the quality of education and recognizes the role that pre-service teachers have in helping achieve this goal. Your support of this program has not gone unnoticed, and we greatly appreciate, and it's appreciated by all who have benefited from it. So thank you again for your unwavering commitment to providing the best education possible to your students and ours. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our second request to address the governing board comes from Ms. Claudia Coleman.
So good evening, governing board members and Madam President, also Superintendent Ventura. This is actually my first board meeting ever after 27 plus years as a teacher. And I feel like I'm coming home because I actually started as a teacher here in Isaac School District. So without any further ado, I am here actually, I'm gonna go off script. I'm here to say thank you to all of you, administrators, teachers, faculty, everybody who has just welcomed our students. And I would like to share one of those testimonies from Kayla Sanford, who started substituting here at Esperanza. She says, subbing was a great way to put into our career early, an experience of different grades, settings, and school environments. I was a long-term sub for the middle school resources. And it was important that I learn how to collaborate with different members of special education team and general education team. I got to experience different types of behaviors and academic goals that were present in the school. Subbing ultimately led me to my placement for student teaching, where I have accepted a first grade position for next school year. She loved it so much that she actually shared it with a friend who's also graduating, and she also interviewed, and it's going to be one of your new teachers for next fall.
Oh, nice.
Natalie Scudder is another student. She's still not ready to graduate yet. She has one more year. But she says, having been a long-term substitute through GCU substitute cohort in the 4th grade classroom has completely changed my scope of how I view teaching. Not only has it given me a chance to learn and grow as an educator under my professor's supervision, I have gained real-world insight as how a classroom runs. I am able to turn to my professors for advice and mentorship as I enter into the education field in a way that is unique compared to the traditional track entering the classroom on your own for the first time. Student teaching or after graduation, my future career as an educator will forever be positively impacted by the GCU substitute cohort and all the things I have learned by participating in this opportunity. I told her that I was coming here to speak, and college student they're moving out, so they got their supplies, and she went ahead and said, sent out a message on social media, said, all the subs, come on over and put your thank you to all of the admin, all of the teachers, all of anyone in staff who has impacted your life while you are subbing. And so you will recognize many of the names here. I see Miss Lee, Miss Singleton, I see Mrs. Veramontes, Ms. Munoz, Ms. Hatton. So all of you, thank you. And I see the red time. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that wonderful news. It's amazing. And okay, next we have information. Enrollment. We have 5,137. Our calendar, May 1st, Principal Appreciation Day, next week. So take care of your principals. Oh, no, you take care of your principals. Like, you take care of your principals.
Will do.
Okay. May 5th, School Lunch Hero Day. May 8th through the 12th, Teacher Appreciation Week. Now, principals, take care of your teachers. May 6th, Isaac School District Arts and Festival at the Isaac Middle School from 10 to 2. May 10th, National School Nurse Day. May 10th, Isaac School District Annual Writing Contest at Mitchell Elementary from 9 to 11. May 11th, Superintendent's Award of Excellence at the district office, which we're going to change that because we changed the meeting, at 5 p.m. That's going to be actually May 8th. May 12th, National School Communicators Day. May 18th, National Speech Psychologist Day. And May 24th, 8th grade promotions. Wow, we have a lot of events in May. So our next governing board meeting is going to be May 8th here at the district office. And if I don't hear any objections, meeting adjourned. Thank you.